Hello and welcome to this Intelligent Briefing. I'm Jess Phillips, Director of Strategic Content at Linchpin Media. In this edition of our Deep Dive series, I'm speaking with Haifa Jlassi, Orange Cyberdefense Security Expert for the META region at Orange Business Services. She talks us through the current cyber threat landscape and highlights how the company is working with organisations to protect themselves against advanced threats. Hello there, Haifa. Thank you for joining me today. Could you first of all just introduce yourself and your job role, please?
Haifa Jlassi. I work for Orange Cyberdefense, the security arm of Orange Business Services, covering Middle East, Africa and Turkey.
Thank you very much. So first up, can you describe the current threat landscape? What are the major threats that your customers are experiencing?
We had actually a very challenging year where organizations across the globe had to adapt their working processes to accommodate remote workers in a very short time. And by that, I mean allowing remote access to their assets as well as moving to the cloud. With that, obviously, there was an increase in the attack surface, and many of them were victims to cyber attacks. If we take a look at Orange Cyberdefense Navigator, you can find some very interesting statistics there. Our cyber analysts across the globe had analyzed something like 1,700,000 events last year and found out that actually 41% of them were confirmed incidents, proper attacks. So across the regions, all of them, we saw an increase in social engineer, 5% this 2020 compared to 1% in 2019. And if we look at malware incidents per se, we're talking about something like 13%. So obviously, state-backed criminal hackers as well as in small hackers as well, they noted that opportunity where every organization is going and opening basically their assets to the public to make it easier for their workers, for their home workers. And that's why we see a lot of ransomware attacks in the news, as well as supply chain attacks.
So how is Orange Cyberdefense positioned to address these threats?
Detection, impact limitation, response, and recovery are essential to reduce the duration and impact of a compromise and avoid a fully fledged breach. Of achieving this, it requires more than just mastering security basics. That's why in Orange Cyberdefense, we have a team of very experienced security practitioners to help our customers think and assess the security architecture, their vulnerabilities, their defense in depth, applications, but also processes. And for that, we have 4 certs across the globe, 11 cyber SOCs, providing an intelligence-led detection, response, and recovery for our customer business to stay in operation and out of the news.
You mentioned ransomware. What are the best strategies for beating ransomware attacks?
Ransomware is generally the final stage strategy for a malware infection. I mean, it's the last action of a compromise that has already progressed through several other phases of exploitation. Malware operators will extract every possible bit of value from a compromised endpoint before initiating encryption and revealing their presence. So the more successfully we detect a malware activity in the earlier stages and disrupt it, the less likely it is to progress to a ransomware incident. So the challenge with detection is that there is not one type of technology that solves all detection needs. So you need to have a clear view on your vulnerabilities first to be able to better assess your risk, then work on the early detection. There are options of doing detection across log data, network data, and endpoint data. There are also threat activities that happen outside of your infrastructure that might cause a risk to your business that needs to be detected. You can probably not solve all problems at the same time, but you can choose a security partner with a complete MDR portfolio and the right expertise that can guide you through that to get the best of your investments.
So how do you help organizations to protect themselves in an increased remote workforce environment?
Orange Cyberdefense offers actually a complete secure access service edge portfolio where we help our customer implement a zero trust strategy with our services and recommendations, but also make it happen at their own pace. Our strength comes from the combination of our expertise, because we're a cloud provider, we're a connectivity provider, and a security provider. The combination of the three makes it easier and more effective for our customer. Those offers are completed by our cyber SOC service that covers not only the SOC triad of log, network, and endpoint, but also detection of threats to the business of the open, deep, and dark web. You can start with one, which is the most relevant for your current need, and then expand to as per the business requirements.
And how do you help your customers to protect their brand against cybercrime?
Our CERT team has something like 80 plus people globally. The CERT team is the one who is dedicated basically to work and detect cyber crimes against our customers. They have a dedicated cybercrime monitoring team, which is about 20 intelligence analysts across 3 different locations across the globe. And they are speaking something like 10 languages, if not more. Largely, they are specialized in intelligence, and they have an intelligence background. That means that they are ex-military from intelligence agencies, etc. They are all very experienced. We're talking about 18 plus years of experience in this field. And they are a member of industry recognized bodies like CERT as well as FIRST. They also have partnerships established with different vendors, editors. They have access to private lists. They have specific communication channels with police and intelligence agencies. And this team work also and has access to the specific agreement that Orange as telco has with the internet and security global organizations like the Public Internet Registry, like VeriSign, so on and so forth. And so they have all the tools, all what is needed actually for them to be able to be in a position to constantly monitor the web, mobile and social channels, to identify any brand exploitation, any social media impersonation, any malicious mobile apps, defacement of legitimate websites. And open detection, they can then send an alert notification to the customer, provide him with recommendations, and help them also by takedown options.
How do you support your customers when they are under attack?
Yeah, the zero risk doesn't exist, right? So in reactive way, actually, and when the customer is under attack, we have a CSIR team, also very experienced with the right skills and the methodology to assist our customers in identifying, containing, eradicating, and recovering from a cyber incidents. They follow the principles of the Association of Chief Police Officers for all aspects of evidence management. They established a combination of in-house and commercial tool sets, honed across years, obviously, of experience in identity and response work. We look to ensure that if your defenses have been breached, the threat is prevented from escalation and damage is really limited to a minimum.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your insights. It's been great to chat to you.
Thank you for having me.